Big up, everyone. Can everyone hear me? Okay, I'm on. I've got a mic on. Bought a new mic. I'm hoping people can hear me okay and everything. Just hope it'll be fine. If not, I'm sure people will tell me in here if they can't hear me or anything. Got the mic on and stuff. So hopefully it'll be better because I needed to get a sort of professional one so people could sort of hear me better because at times I'm a bit quiet on here, I think. I'm not really heard so much. So I felt it was the best idea to get one. And I've got my guest here, Manny, of course. He's been patiently waiting for me, and I apologise again, Manny. And to anyone else, obviously been waiting for me on here. Obviously got a few comments in here, and I want to talk about this guy behind me, young man. Unfortunately lost his life last year. 6 liver transplants, unfortunately, and very brave young man, great man. Always seemed happy and smiley on his channel. He had a great channel for Arsenal and Formula One, and plenty of other stuff that he loved. It's such a shame at 28 years old that he lost his life. And there was a great tribute yesterday stream. So I hope you all can check that out. And, it's a great stream. Melina that done the stream, and a lot of us went on there. Plenty of people went on to pay tributes to him and everything. So Stephen Featley, this guy, he was incredible. Very brave young man. And brilliant, He done so much, and he had obviously liver disease and everything, and had 6 transplants. So he was amazing. And I've got the charity, obviously, the link on here for his charity that he believed in. It done so much for him as well. Throughout all that, so if you can donate, that'd be fantastic. But I'll bring Manny on, and we maybe talk about him a little bit more. But obviously, we will get onto the major topics on this debate show. Well, I'll bring Manny on first. Big up, Manny.
Big up to you. And listen, please don't apologise for keeping me waiting. It's always, every time I come on here, it's always, a pleasure. I don't even mind the wait because I know that unlike certain other YouTubers who see it fit to keep guests waiting because they know that they'll wait, you're not doing it deliberately. So no need to apologise. Always a pleasure. We've got a lot to talk about. And I want to say thank you very much indeed for taking the time to pay tribute to Stephen. I was, of course, his co-host on this channel, and that was how you and I met. And just a reminder to everyone who's watching, the link is in the chat. Do please check it out and donate whatever you can. Every little bit can help, and you never know whose life you could potentially save in the future.
That's true, mate. Well said. You can hear me okay. I've obviously got this new mic I've got in now, and Yeti, it's the Yeti one. Blue's obviously professional, one of the best ones apparently. So I've got that. I don't know if it's good or not, but I'm trying it out. So hopefully people can hear me better now with all this.
If they still can't hear you, they're probably going to say not Yeti.
That's a good one as usual, Manny. You're on top form, mate, as usual.
That's right. I got that from an American sitcom, so I should. I can't take full credit for that, but it's always one that's commonly used. But thank you.
Yeah, it's cool, mate. Cool, brilliant. And anyways, just looking at these comments, I might pop on. Do you know FDT? Do you know him at all?
I think he tried to come on the stream yesterday. I think he left a comment or two. I can't say I remember having a stream with him, but if he were to pop on, I'm sure it would be really good company. So.
Oh right, he's an Arsenal fan, isn't he? I take it. Yeah, looks like he's got that Saka on there.
Oh, nice. So in many ways, of course. Obviously, Arsenal would have been looking forward to playing tonight in a better frame of mind, but obviously circumstances dictating otherwise, and we are going to get into the meat of that because that's the main topic for tonight. Yeah.
Well, yeah, obviously about Tierney, of course, the big blunder. So, um, but yeah, obviously we will talk about that. As I say, I have put the link in here anyway. Um, so hold on a minute, just get to that. There it is. Anyone does want to come on, you're welcome. So have a good debate on here as usual, as always. So with Manny and my other guests whenever I have them on. So brilliant stuff. Stephen, yeah, I didn't know him, but great charity. Of course it is, mate. Brilliant charity. It's a shame you didn't know him because a lot of us did. And he was a great young man, you know, brilliant, great personality. You know, he was fighting all this. He was, you know, he was so brave and determined, courageous, you know, to beat, you know, fight all this liver transplants and disease he had and everything. He was amazing, you know, a real hero, you know, to people to look up to and show what you know what you can do and try and carry on as long as you can in life. And so he was still cut down at too young at 28. You know, it's still too young that age. And you know, as I said yesterday, it's like that Queen song says, "Only the good die young." And Stephen was good. He was a good guy. And you know, it was a real shame. So I remember being on his streams and live chats and everything, all the stuff he done. It was incredible, and you know, he was so popular with everyone. You know, he had loads of people watching his streams and you know, following him, especially through the obviously this all the ups and downs he had in his life with all this, and you know, um, you know, it's a shame, mate. R.I.P. Stephen. So please rest in peace, and hope you're well, buddy, and hope you're still following the Arsenal. Hope they can win something for you this year. I really do. You know, that'd be great. But
Yeah, that's the hope. I will say, you know, not too long before he passed away, he actually called me. He had this habit of calling me because he had my number, obviously on WhatsApp. And one of the things he said was that although he was absolutely scathing in his criticism of Arteta, there was a part of him that was starting to warm to him and thinking maybe he was wrong. In a way, I know this is a horrible thing to say, but I'm glad that he passed before seeing our awful capitulation that stage of the season, because he would not have been best pleased with that at all. I don't even know what he'd be thinking, but you know, at least you could say that with Arsenal consistently doing a lot better, he started to believe a little bit more before he passed, and maybe there is a part of him that thinks, you know what, we still have to keep on hoping, and we've got to keep trying. And
yeah, big up, Box, by the way. Great to see you in here, mate. Brilliant. Cheers for coming in. He's been on quite a few other things, Box, live chats and stuff, so I know him quite well.
Nice.
But yeah, great to see you in here. I put this on the screen, I know, because this is on X anyway, so it doesn't matter if I show this, really, this screen, is it? So,
not at all. Not at all.
So I just got to be careful. Obviously, I don't want if I've got no permission maybe to show certain things, and I might get in trouble, you know. So just being careful, Manny, you know. So
yeah, just for the record, I don't think you can show videos of you know, games that have been played or highlights videos on this stream. But this is perfectly fine, I'm sure.
you know, I'll just make sure with his family as well, mate. You know, because the family, I don't want to get in trouble with them or anything. You know, his family for showing this sort of thing. So if I haven't got their permission to do it, you know, so I've got to be careful. So I know it was fine with Melina because she obviously must have had their permission yesterday to do all that. I take it without tribute. So I'm just making sure. I don't know if you know a lot about that, Manny, if you know about if she got permission and stuff, but um,
Yeah. Obviously, I don't think I'll be. I mean, I haven't been able to speak to Stephen's family very much, but you know, we'll talk about it. And we've got.
yeah, big up, Tony.
Yeah. Thank you.
He does football TV. Yeah, we're well, mate. Both well, yeah. Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, great stream for Miss Molina yesterday. It was. It definitely was. Brilliant. Stephen Featley sadly missed but never forgotten. Exactly. Yeah, I agree. He never will be forgotten. A special young man. Brilliant. Shame his candle, his light was snuffed out at a very young age, unfortunately. Um, yeah, the banter with Stephen Luca was always top value. It was. It was funny. And they never always saw eye to eye. But they were great friends still, of course, great mates. So
Yeah, I can
um,
say that I had my moments when sometimes we were a little bit at odds, and I will say that there were some occasions when he never really when he and I, like for example, I mentioned it on the stream. I don't know if you were there, mate, but for some silly reason he'd boot me off the stream, and then I'd have to scream, let me back on, you so and so.
oh
But
right,
we had our laughs. We had our laughs, and it was always good fun. It was always
lovely.
good fun, and
Mm.
you know, the bond that we had will always outshine all of that. And I'll never forget how he went out of his way to send me a Christmas card. I even shared that on my Instagram profile.
Yeah,
Top fella, top fella.
yeah, brilliant, mate, brilliant. It's tasteful. I'm sure it's fine. Stephen says, yeah, yeah, I hope so, mate. Yeah, that's all I'm doing. I'm not, I'm only celebrating what a great life he had, and celebrating him, because it was a lot of people still didn't know him, and it was such a shame because he done so much for everyone, and you know, treated people all the same. No matter what happened, he was always kind to people, and you know, he had a great life. The life he had, okay, was sometimes hard for him. As we all know, it's going to be tough when you got a liver disease issue. With my dad, it's obviously prostate, and he's had to live with that for a little while now, and got through it all, controlled it. But it is tough when you're trying to fight this every time. And he had obviously 6 transplants in his life, so it was never easy for him in and out of hospital. Not great. So such a brave young man, and we all miss him, and we always will. But we'll see you one day again, Stephen. We'll see you, mate, one day. So don't worry about that. As that
As
song
the
goes,
as the, Yep,
we'll
we'll meet
see
again.
you when you get there. If you ever get there, that song, I love that song. Brilliant, that
Yeah,
song.
but even more iconic, really, is a song that was championed by Her Late Majesty, the legend that is Vera Lynn. We'll meet again.
I will meet
Don't know
again, yeah.
where, don't know when,
Mm,
but I know we'll meet again some
some
sunny
sunny
day.
day. Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's a good song, yeah. Good to wind Stephen up. He always found it funny knowing it was good banter, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, true. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, early doors football TV, evening at Stephen C. Step C, yeah. Evening. Evening to everyone in here. And we'll obviously get on with this topic in a minute, but I just thought it was important to do this. And as I say, I put the link in here for the Liver Disease Foundation. So please give what you can to that. I know it's not easy. Giving money, it's hard at any time of the year. But whatever you can, it doesn't matter. Fiver, anything is good. To bit, to help the foundation and help get more, for the charity, and to help stop this, obviously help, try and stop this horrible disease, would be great. Yeah, Chelsea fan. Big up, Mr. B and Manny. Yeah, big up, Chelsea fan. Hope you're well, man. Hope you're well. I don't know what you thought about the match on Saturday. I hope you enjoyed it. It was 2-2 in the end. A hell of a match. And at least we got a point out of it, but we still should have won it. And I'm sure a lot of people agreed on that. We should have won the game at 2-1 up. But there you go. As usual, we can't hold on to a lead. But a hell of a goal from Visser. Incredible goal. That was goal of the weekend at one stage until the Manchester derby, wasn't it? It's two fantastic goals there from Rashford and Foden. Amazing goals they were. So they sort of topped that in the end, but still a great goal by Visser. I'll always say that. It's a brilliant goal. Stephen, evening Tony. Chelsea fan. I will Stephen so much. He was a good friend to me. Yeah, miss him. Yeah. Anyway, guys, you can look at this, follow this on X. You go onto there. Obviously, it's got all this page and the comments, everything about him on there. People paying tributes, everyone on there. So, go and check that out. And as I say, donate to that charity. It's very important. I'll just put it up on there again now, just to show people. But it's in the live chat, obviously. Hold on a minute. I've got to do this because I can't use my mouse at the moment because I've got this microphone put in. So now I'm using the touchpad, and it's harder with that. Right, where is it? Here it is. There you go. So yeah, please click on that and follow the instructions and donate what you can, everyone. Thank you. Brilliant. Right, so we get into this. I'll just take this off the back here, but obviously I've gone through this as much as I can, and obviously I'll put it back on at the end probably. This screen behind me. Sorry about this, Manny. It's a bit slower on there because I'm using the touchpad now. So I'll just get my other back screen on when I can get to it. The Brentford one that I usually have on. There we go. And obviously we'll get into the topic about a certain Mr. Paul Tierney making an absolute big blunder that cost Nottingham Forest a point in the game. They could have had a point. That's the way it was going, and it was a much needed one for them, wasn't it? And they couldn't manage to get it because of a dodgy referee's decision yet again. So I'll go through the comments in a little while, but I'm going to bring this up. Obviously, the screen about it.
Oopsie daisies.
And, yeah, hold on a minute. There we go. This should be the one. I'll bring it up. As I was saying, it's a bit slower because I'm using the touchpad, and I prefer the mouse, to be honest, but I've got this connected up. So, gosh, come back on. It went off for a minute. Right. Paul Tierney lands VAR role for the game tonight. Arsenal. For Arsenal Brentford next weekend. I mean, that's what I mean. But He's got
What
the
a
role of
game!
that.
What a wonderful coincidence.
Yeah. Yeah. Referee wrongly handled ball to Liverpool at Nottingham Forest. Paul Tierney will not referee a Premier League game this weekend, but will be on VAR duty for Arsenal versus Brentford. Oh dear. Ah. Professional Game Match Officials Limited, the referee's body, insists the appointment is not a punishment for his error in the build-up to Liverpool's 99th minute winner at Nottingham Forest last Saturday. Tierney, a top-flight referee since 2015, has refereed 22 Premier League matches this season, but has also operated as VAR, including 3 times last month, most recently on 17th February for Burnley's game at home to Arsenal. Forest were left so incensed by Tierney's failure to apply the laws correctly in the 97th minute, 1 minute and 50 seconds before Darwin Nunez headed winner, that their owner Evangelos Marinakis confronted the referee in the players' tunnel minutes after the final whistle. Forest's first team coach Stephen Reid was sent off for venting anger at Tierney as the referee headed down the tunnel. In the aftermath of the goal, a supporter who ran onto the pitch from the Brian Clough stand, funnily enough, was restrained by the Forest defender Murillo after he made a beeline for Tierney. Tierney wrongly handed the ball to Camayan Kelleher.
Queeman.
Quimin. Strange
Yeah.
name. Kelleher to restart play after a collision between the Liverpool goalkeeper and defender Ibrahima Konate. IFAB laws state Forest should have been awarded a drop ball because their player Callum Hudson-Odoi was in possession when the referee halted play. The restart did not lead directly to Liverpool's winner, with Forest regaining possession before Nunez headed in Alexis McAllister's cross. The Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp highlighted how an almost identical decision went against his side earlier in the half when Forest regained possession from a drop ball after Harvey Elliott's shot was blocked by Forest's Ryan Yates. Forest took the unprecedented step of making Mark Clattenburg, the former FIFA and Premier League referee recently hired by the club on a consultancy basis, available for an interview, and he was critical of Tierney's performance. Clattenburg vowed to speak to PGMOL, his former employer, about the decisions. Mike Dean, the former Premier League referee, told Sky Sports Tierney made a monumental error. Well, he obviously did, didn't he? He said, unfortunately for Paul, it is a mistake and it is a bad one. It leads to a goal. Eventually, there has been a big fallout, and rightly so. Clattenburg sat next to Howard Webb, the chief refereeing officer at PGMOL, at Forest's previous home match, last Wednesday's FA Cup fifth round defeat by Manchester United. Forest sought to bring Clattenburg in as a referee analyst after being left aggrieved by a series of decisions this season. Forest lodged a formal complaint with Webb and the Premier League after Ivan Toney's controversial goal. When he moved the ball, we all know this, when he moved the ball before scoring a free kick in defeat at Brentford in January. Forest have submitted 3 official complaints to the league after refereeing decisions this season. Sonny Singh Gill will make Premier League history this weekend by becoming the first British South Asian to referee a match in the competition. Singh Gill will take charge of Crystal Palace's meeting at home to Luton. So there we go, Manny. What do you think about all that?
Well, first of all, on a happier note, let me say congratulations to Mr. Singh Gill, Chuck Day, and refereeing actually runs in his blood. His father, Jarnail Singh Gill, was the first and only English football referee to wear a turban, and he officiated in 150 matches exactly between 2004 and 2010. I don't think he managed in the Premier League. In fact, certainly he didn't. And his brother, Bhupinder Singh Gill, was the first Sikh Punjabi to serve as a Premier League assistant referee. He ran the line in the match between Southampton and Nottingham Forest in January of last year. So congratulations to them. Now, of course, back to the main topic. You and I. So, if you know me well enough, Steve, you know that that my position on refereeing decisions is that you cannot allow yourself to bemoan the performance of the
Yeah.
referee. And it is quite pertinent to note that even after that erroneously awarded drop goal, Forest had in fact regained possession. Several Forest fans have also made it crystal clear that whenever, as a defender, whenever you have a ball, um, you have the ball and you are trying to defend it, just boot it into row Z. It's as simple as that. Instead, one of the Forest defenders, it actually might ironically have been Taiwo Awaniyi, I think, he was dawdling with the ball and allowed Alexis McAllister to reclaim it. And then a
Yeah.
perfectly weighted left-footed pass found the head of Darwin Núñez, glanced it beyond Matt Sells, the former Newcastle United goalkeeper. And I was thinking to myself as they were celebrating, you jammy so-and-sos. You jammy so-and-sos. Um, you know, the celebrations obviously were quite circumstantial because to win a game like
Yeah.
that, which they never, which they thought, they were lucky to, they would have been lucky to get a point from that. Obviously that was momentous for them, and Klopp also highlighted that the huge workload they had within a few days with a squad decimated by injuries and with so many young players in. It was just magnificent in a way. But this is also an occasion, Mr. B, where the decision itself was a very serious mistake. I'm not going to fall into the trap of saying that if the decision was if the decision went the other way, the right way, everything would have changed. And obviously, Alan Shearer and Jermaine Janus on BBC Match of the Day, I think, were trotting out this line that if the decision were awarded in Nottingham Forest's favour, like it should have been, everything would have changed. Um, it's hard to say, really, because again, Forest did reclaim possession, and they only really have themselves to blame for not clearing it. But it was a dreadful decision, and if the letter of the law dictates that you have to a drop ball has to be awarded to the team in possession, then that is the
Yeah.
way it should be done. I suppose if I could play the devil's advocate, and certainly Tierney was treated like the devil by so many Forest fans and the Forest owner. Um, I think he probably thought that with the severity of the challenge that led to Konate's injury, it you know it dictated that Liverpool had the ball back because it was in the Liverpool penalty area, and maybe his idea was that the severity of the foul meant that a free kick had to be awarded. But if it
Yeah.
wasn't a serious challenge, then and a drop ball was to be awarded, then the letter of the law did in fact dictate that Forest should have had a drop ball. And there's no who's to say that if the ball had been dropped at that point and Hudson-Odoi had the ball, who's to say that he wouldn't have dealt it across, which would have led to a potential Forest goal that would have been a dagger to their hearts in their quest to win this Premier League title. But again, at the end of the day, it's ifs and buts and sweets and nuts. And many people will always say, including Warren from Warren's Team Talk, they will actually quote the legendary Brian Clough, ironically, among others, who says, as a team, you are supposed to play so well enough that you don't need to depend on refereeing decisions to help you get your way. And the reason why I say that, of course, is because Forest have in fact submitted several complaints, as you've mentioned, to the FA about refereeing decisions that haven't gone their way, including, of course, one which went in your favour, the infamous Tony free kick, of course, at the G-Tech Stadium.
Yeah.
And
Definitely remember that.
I suppose it's easy for a team to say that they felt a little bit hard done by, but
Yeah.
having said that, Forest are where they are in the Premiership for a reason, and the sight of the owner and several fans rushing onto the field to try and confront the referee is still absolutely inexcusable. You don't do that. For Stephen Reid to literally mouth off at Tierney and get himself a red card for his sins, you just
Yeah.
don't want to see scenes like that. Um,
But he was always a bit
y-
fiery, Stephen Reid, anyway. That's when he was a
yeah,
player,
I
wasn't
mean,
he? So,
yeah, I do actually have memories of him being a part of the Irish World Cup squad in 2002. I don't know if he
Yeah.
got any minutes. In fact, I will have to look that up. I'm pretty certain he didn't. But the referee's decision was a poor decision, but Forest did play well enough to regain possession. So the ball was in their at their feet. The ball was in their court. The ball was in their half, or whatever cliche you want to use. So
Yeah.
as unfortunate as it is, at the end of the day, as several Forest fans have said, Forest only really have themselves to blame for not being able to see things out. And there wouldn't be this level of controversy, mind you, if the result had been Forest nil, Liverpool nil.
Yeah.
Um, even Klopp to say how a similar decision went against Liverpool in the first half and how it's a case of things evening themselves out. You don't want to see things evening themselves out because two wrongs do not make a right. Of course, and brilliant save from the Al Ain keeper. I'm actually watching Cristiano Ronaldo's Al Nassr
Oh,
being
right.
in the AFC Champions League up against the UAE's Al Ain at the moment. But I'll turn it off after a few minutes. I'm sorry about
Is
this,
that
mate.
right that he
And
might actually be retiring? Is he apparently he could be retiring, Ronaldo? I don't know if that's true or not.
well, I would say that having achieved 200 caps for Portugal, I think the
Mm,
European Championships with O Seleção will be his last
mm.
with Portugal. Because especially if Jose Mourinho ends up managing Portugal soon, I don't think he'd want Ronaldo in his team, and it
No.
could very well be that Al Nassr will be where he ends up retiring. But if he fails to win the Champions League with Al Nassr, it will be an embarrassment, believe you me. But anyway, back to the football, and I will switch
Yeah.
off my TV for a bit.
Big up, Mel.
Uh,
Hello. Mel
Hello,
here.
Mel, and
Yeah.
as I was saying, there wouldn't be this controversy at all if the result had been a goalless draw. If anything, Forest wouldn't have even minded it. So it was a terrible error. And,
Mm.
PGMOL can say whatever they like, but obviously, that was absolutely a dreadful mistake to make. And, you have to react to that by saying, I'm sorry. There's no way that we can allow you to referee this round of games. But of course, it's funny how he's going to be taking on VAR duties for Arsenal against Brentford. In the corresponding fixture last season, if you will recall, there was quite a bit of controversy with the use, or rather non-use, of the offside lines in that game, which apparently went against Arsenal. But I can also tell you that you had your chances to win that game. And that draw actually impeded us, at least partially, in our campaign to try and win the title. We ended up losing that. So with Tierney on VAR duty, expect
Yeah.
controversy or incompetence, or if we're unlucky, both you and I, maybe both.
Yeah. I was going to say, could we have another part to playing it yet again? And what happens with you again this season?
You never know,
Um,
mate, because a lot of people have been saying that this game will be Tony's audition for Arsenal, and he will be determined to have a good game. In another subplot, this could very well prove to be Aaron Ramsdale's final Arsenal game, because I do not see him replacing David Raya unless the Spaniard suffers a cataclysmic injury. So,
well, we'd take Ramsdale here, to be quite honest with you. We'd have him at the bees, We would. He's a decent
yeah,
keeper, Ramsdale. Decent. What do you rate him?
two-time relegated goalkeeper with Bournemouth and Sheffield
Well,
United. Mucked up
yeah,
our
he's still
league
good, though. I
campaign.
still rate him. He's still a good keeper. He's
He's
not one of the worst. There's worse than
he's
him.
Yeah, he's decent and he can pull off some worldies, but technically he does make a lot of mistakes. His concentration is poor. I'd like to think that with another team with a serious goalkeeping coach, he will do some good work with Aaron and help him, reach his potential. Um, and he will go to the Euros with England because I think he's one of the only fit keepers available, unless Southgate wants to consider recalling Jackie Butland or even Joe Hart from up in Scotland. I really don't think that'll happen. But that particular game should see. I mean, as I said, if we're unlucky, there will be a lot of controversy in that game with VAR. There will be a lot to look forward to, and I'm sure you'll be doing a preview of that. And
Right,
Helen, good
Helen.
to see you as well, ma'am. And uh, yeah, that promises to be a great deal of fun. But as far as Tierney is concerned, he's already been in the headlines for the wrong reasons. And sooner or later, there has to be a review of some of his performances, really.
Yeah, I mean, but then also I've been seeing on other streams about they think it's a formality for Arsenal to beat us, and I don't think it should. I don't think it's that at all. Formality to beat us, surely not. I know we're not at our best this season. You know, we're not how we have been last 2 or 3 seasons, but we're still not. It can't be that easy to beat still, surely. And they're saying it's formality. You know that you lot are going to wipe the floor with us basically. And I know it's at the Emirates, and we probably shouldn't win there at all or get anything there, but you never know. And I know no other teams have really turned up against you. I think Sheffield United. I don't know if that would. You never know what could happen there. They've beaten us and they've beaten Luton, Sheffield United, so they're not that bad, are they? Surely.
Agree. And let's not forget last season as well. You know, we were facing a Southampton team that was almost effectively doomed to relegation, and that was supposed to be a formality. But then, you know, in the opening few minutes, Ramsdale with an absolute howler to give Southampton the lead. Ex-gunner Theo Walcott doubling that lead. We were 2-0 down, and we had to huff and puff just to get a draw in that game. So if
Yeah.
you disrespect your opposition, as quite a few people have done, you know, be prepared for, you know, a backlash. I think credit to Arsenal this time around. We're a lot more ruthless. We're a lot more professional, at least in theory. So we're not going to
Oh,
take
definitely.
this lightly by any means. And of course, it will be very important for us to succeed, because other teams, of course, have been able to succeed at Sheffield United, the likes of City, United, Aston Villa, and a few others. So we cannot afford to fail, and it's as simple as that. And I think Tierney really, Mr. B, there has to be a review of his performances,
Yeah.
especially if he's going to make such decisions like that. If it's as blatant an error to earn criticism from the likes of Clattenburg, I mean, you know, Clattenburg, especially, I don't want to take his word as the gospel because he is now aligned with Nottingham Forest for some reason. But even Dermot Gallagher came on the Premier League channel and said that, you know, that was a poor mistake to make. But a lot of pundits were in agreement that that mistake cannot be used as an excuse for Forest failing to clear their lines and not seeing that out. I'm pretty certain that as incompetent a referee as Tierney may be, he isn't a closeted Liverpool fan, and there's no way that he
Yeah.
would want
Cool.
to,
Sorry, mate. Yeah. Of course,
do
Helen. You
that.
can jump
But
on. You can jump
and
on,
anyway,
Helen. You're
listen,
welcome. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and anyway, listen, I will have to just nip off a bit. I've got an errand to
No,
run,
it's
but I will be
fine,
back
mate.
in
No
5 or 10 minutes.
worries.
So,
Take your
Helen,
time, mate. It's
man,
fine.
you're welcome to come on. Keep the continuity rolling, and just keep on flowing. And maybe if I come back, I'll get to see you. But I will be back, as Arnie said.
Yeah. Yeah. See you soon, Manny. Right. Yeah, I'm gonna get her on, Stephen. Don't worry. I'll put the link in here. So, Helen, there is the link is in here. So, oh, Henry, sorry. Yeah. Okay. No worries. Henry. Yeah. 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 It's the link's in here. You're welcome on. So, um, I'll I'll just get to the link. Uh, you should be able to see it in here. Where is it now? Uh, yeah, I did put a link in, didn't I? Yeah. 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 There's the link, Henry. So you're welcome to come on if you want to. So everyone's welcome on here. So even Stephen, you can come on, mate, if you want. Um, I know you said you weren't able to come on, but I think you are now. So if you want to come on, mate, you're welcome. As I said, anyone's welcome to come on. Yeah, links at the top. Yeah. Um, so I could just put it in again. And oh, here we go. Henry's here now. I'll add him to the stage. Hi, Henry. How you doing? All right? Can you? Are you on mute? Are you on mute? think you're on mute, mate.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Henry. Yeah, welcome, mate. You're welcome. I think you was on mute there for a little while.
But if, and hi to Manny as well.
Yeah, he's gone off for the moment. I don't know what he's doing, but he's gone for the moment. But he'll be back soon. Yeah. So anyway, Henry, what do you make of all this with Paul Tierney?
Right.
What do you make of that?
I don't know what has actually been said regarding, because I've only just come into the chat as I was doing a live. But regarding the game at City Ground, there were a lot of mistakes by Paul Tierney.
Yeah, there was.
And what the Forest fans are aggrieved of, there is far worse regarding the game, because if you look closely to the incident in the penalty area with Ibra Kanate, there was a kung fu kick at his head.
Oh, right, I didn't see that bit.
Completely missed.
Oh, I didn't see
yes,
that,
there
Henry.
was a tug on a shirt that maybe should have been given as a penalty.
Right.
But I think that just picking on Liverpool as always getting decisions from VAR and referees is very insulting to Liverpool Football Club. Yes, there are decisions we get, but there are far more decisions we don't get. But it happens in football. There are a lot of teams that don't get decisions by referees and VAR. But because there is so much history around Forest and Liverpool regarding Hillsborough, I think that was all in Saturday's game as well, because of the emotions surrounding Hillsborough. But
saying that, you got it right. You got the decision, didn't you? You got the goal. You scored, so you can't really moan, can you? You did win it, so how can you moan about decisions? I mean, if anything, Forest were moaning because they had the, rubber. They didn't have the rubber to green, did they? So, but I take what you're saying there, Henry. I mean, these you're a big team, Liverpool, and these big teams, they think they get, they don't always get the rubber to green, and when you're up there, you're there to be shot down, aren't you? So. And they think, well, the referee's always against them. I mean, we could say that, and we're a smaller team. But, at the end of the day, it's always swings and roundabouts, isn't it, all the time? Refs can be against you, they can be for you. I mean, they shouldn't be on your side at the end of the day. They should be biased. They should be neutral. Unbiased, I should say, or neutral. But, anyway, Henry, do you want to carry on? Sorry to interrupt you. Did you want to carry on?
Well, I just think that in today's day, when we talk about football, it's always Liverpool, and I've been supporting Liverpool since 1974. And I am disgusted that we get picked on because we are seen as traitors or bad people or always causing trouble in the stands and everything. And it's like, why are we always getting picked on when there's so many other teams that should get bookings, sendings off, and they don't get touched? But yeah, it's Liverpool's fault.
Yeah, I
Hold on a minute.
can't agree. Yeah, go on, Stephen. Yeah,
So
big
being
up,
top of
mate.
the league has nothing to do with it, and us getting minus 30 10 years ago doesn't make any difference then, no? So you're complaining about your bookers and sending off all that, but we get minus 30 and get pushed out out the English league, and we get punished for it. So you're saying about bookers and sending offs. I think that makes a difference, and Hillsborough's got nothing to do with it because the police were found guilty for that. So that's a water under the bridge. But you're complaining about bookers and Liverpool get picked on. How about being a little club where we get picked on week in, week out, every bloody week, and you're sitting top of the league and you're complaining? Nah, sorry, I don't see why.
Fan.
I don't see how you're making a big song and dance about it when you're sitting top of the league and you're sitting and you're on all fronts. You've already won the English, you've already won the League Cup. You're going well in the FA Cup. You're top of the league. You're in Europe. I don't think you've got anything to complain about, really.
Yeah, he's a Luton fan, you see, Stephen. So you can see where he's coming from, but everybody, everyone should be the same in this league. I know you're in the bigger team.
But it isn't, though, is it?
No.
You've seen it as well as I have, mate. The little clubs get a lot of stick, and the big clubs that rake in all the money get like a pass.
Yeah.
Man City being the big example. 515 charges over them, and they're not getting touched yet. Everton are and Forest are. What about Man City? I know they've got a date now, but that don't mean they're going to get charged, does it?
No. Well, they got, was it over 115?
115, yeah, 115 breaches of FAP rules.
Yeah.
Supposedly. Sorry, we got to put supposedly, but.
And you've chosen to have a go at Liverpool Football Club.
Don't go on about Liverpool. You're fighting on all fronts of the English pyramid, mate. I don't see what you're complaining about. You're top, you're larving.
You don't know the facts.
So explain it to me, because I swear I know a lot about football. So you explain to me what the facts are. Well, you're sitting top of the league and sitting pretty. And you got the rub of the green on Saturday.
Yeah, well, we got another Liverpool supporter in here. We got Jordan. Big up, Jordan. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm good.
Big up, bro.
Big up, Jordan, all right, mate.
What did you make of this all? Do you think Liverpool are being picked on? Do you think they got the getting the rough end of the stick from the referees?
Well, I was surprised to see that we got so much minutes to win that game. But yes, indeed.
Yeah, do you think you're getting the rough end of the stick though? Because that's what Henry's saying here. Do you think you're getting, being a Liverpool fan? Do you think you're getting the rough end of the stick? Because it seems to me like you're getting the good decisions, mate. You got that win at the end of the day. You got the win, and you're still top, aren't you? So, what's wrong with that? At the end of the day, how can you moan? You should try being down near the bottom, mate. It's not fun. When you're getting decisions against you, that's not really fun at the end of the day. And we can say the referees are against us, but it's the same for everyone. It should be the same for everyone in this league. It's not one rule for one and one for another. It shouldn't be that. Although it seems to be, it is. But
thank you, Doug.
Oh, Doug's in here, yeah. Everyone forgets Liverpool has had the most decisions go against them. For VAR, 5 decisions have gone against us this season. But when we win a game, there is an outcry. These decisions happen all the time. Yeah. Well, yeah, you could say that. I still think it's everyone gets the rough end of the stick at times from the referees. I don't think it's the same for all the big teams. Arsenal, maybe. I
Believe
don't
me,
know.
Mr. B. Sorry for cutting in, but I believe I'm pretty certain that every single big team, United, Arsenal, Spurs, Aston Villa, they're going to claim the short end of the stick very often. In fact, Aston Villa themselves will claim that their home game against Sheffield United was a game which was riddled by so many horrible decisions that went against them. It completely knocked them off their stride. Not really an excuse. I'm not saying that, far from it. But every team has to go through. Every team goes through it. Not every team shouldn't have to go through it though, because ideally you wouldn't have these dreadful decisions. But again, it all boils down to how you're able to, overcome all of that and just come out on top at the end. And I think
we lost Henry in that. By the way, they've gone. Henry and Jordan are gone. So I don't know why.
But Henry did say that he had to leave because he had some other commitments. Anyway, Liverpool, I think you've got to give them some credit because they pressed hard, they showed desire, and I think they deserve to win. But I think, unlike certain fans who are willing to say the same thing about a rather jammy 3-2 win against Bournemouth last season, or an even jammier 4-3 win against Stepsey's lot this season. I'm sorry I had to mention that. It was a jammy win. And, the fact that we would over-celebrate that by calling that a tribute to our spirit and character is just shameful. And all these pundits who were saying it's the stuff of champions, wind your necks in. Liverpool will be smart enough to know that that far from being the stuff of champions, they could have done better. But having said that, they also did have a pretty big workload of games over the past week or so. And so Klopp himself said to come through that with 4 wins. If you had told him that they'd win all 4 games, he would have bitten your arm off.
Do you think, though, Manny, with the over celebrations that Klopp's done and Liverpool done against Luton and all that, the over celebration, do you think it's like a disbursement on these little teams that we should be beating this, so we'll celebrate that we won the Champions League, or Liverpool doing it when they badly passed whoever they played? I can't remember who they played, and Klopp was doing the old fist pumps and that was over celebrating. Do you think this over celebrating should be stopped, or do you think it's just part of the moment, in the moment?
Sometimes it looks awful, Stepsy, but then maybe in some situations it can be a little bit justified. All I would ask in return is don't do a Jose Mourinho and end up provoking the opposing team. That's all I would ask in return. He was probably one of those.
Piss take. That was a right piss.
He was.
It's Porto,
exactly. He was one of the people who pioneered that, especially after after his Porto team beat Manchester United. So at least be respectful. I mean, you can be happy with the win, but don't take the mickey out of your opponents. That's all I ask. Yeah. And
he's always been controversial, Mourinho. Though always done something controversial, isn't it?
That's the case with him, though. So.
Yeah, he's a bit of a tosser, for want of a nicer word, and I can never.
Didn't expect that from you, Manny, but nice one, mate. Yeah.
I mean, I can't think of really a thing to say which wouldn't be PG. So that pretty much came in there, really. But especially after his antics at Real Madrid. Especially after his antics at Real Madrid while he was managing there, where he had the nerve to poke the Barcelona assistant coach right in the eye. I'm sorry, but that is absolutely uncalled for. That is absolutely uncalled for.
There's another one that I remember that you two remember. Can you remember Graham Souness when he was Galatasaray manager or Fenerbahce manager? He got the I think he's Fenerbahce manager. He got the Galatasaray flag and stuck it right in the middle of the Fenerbahce stadium, because I think he was Galatasaray manager or Fenerbahce one way there, but he stuck the opposite flag in the middle of the pitch.
And that was stupid.
The uproar from that, I'll tell you what, there was some, No wonder you jumped ship.
That was a stupid thing to do because he should have
Yeah.
known about the intense rivalry in Turkey between
In Turkey, yeah.
Galatasaray, Fenerbahce, and Besiktas, all
That
Istanbul
could really
clubs, if
kick
memory
off,
serves
couldn't
me
it?
right.
Yeah.
And
It really kicked off.
yeah, it was a
Mm.
case of sort of a culturally unaware Brit, doing what he felt like, and
Yeah.
it wasn't exactly the comments. We've seen similar stuff from some of our footballers. I mean, who could ever forget Paul Gascoigne belching into an Italian television camera, for Pete's sake?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
remember that,
far from being cheeky, chappy humour from our lovable Geordie, I think it was a little bit crass. But hey, that's Gaza for you. But I think we digressed a little bit, and we were talking about over celebrations.
Yeah.
Look, as I've said, keep it respectful, enjoy your team's success, but at least don't make it seem like you're taking the mickey. And in fact, I would also say, preferably, that you should avoid that
That
because
business.
very easily, especially
You're
if it's a
right
tight
by.
game, especially if it's a tight game, that could very easily have been you on the other side facing a defeat. So sometimes you've got to be respectful and say, you know what, be magnanimous. And I like managers who are magnanimous. And one of the reasons why I consider Carlo Ancelotti to be a fine manager is because, yes, he had the history with AC Milan as a player and won 2 European Cups with them in that great side, which had the likes of Van Basten, Gullit, Rijkaard and company,
very good
Maldini.
team.
You up there,
And
boy?
several other.
What's the bleeding
several
story?
other-
What's the bleeding crack? Easy,
Hey.
easy there, boy.
They
Of
have John
course.
Pierre
And,
Papin as well on the side, didn't they?
He
What's the
he
bleeding
managed
story?
Juventus for a period of
Mm.
Juventus for a period of time, did Ancelotti, and he was derided by people there. Many people have called him really unsavory, disgusting names. He was called a pig. He was called even worse than that. But when AC Milan beat Juventus in what was, I think, the 2003 European Cup final on penalties, he was magnanimous enough to go to the Juventus team and console all of them. And that tells you something about the nature of the man, a real special one in my eyes. If I were in his shoes, I mean, I probably wouldn't, go so far to necessarily, give it to them with both barrels, unless they were really, really having a go at me in the kickoff. I'd say, you know what, silence yourselves, as Mourinho has done. And there would be times when I'd feel tempted to do that, but. If in Juventus's case, though, I think they wanted to move on from him, and I think Ancelotti was wise enough not to, add fuel to a raging fire, as it were. So that really was sensible of him, and I say fair play to the man, and that is why he will always be worthy of respect.
Yeah, walking away from that with his dignity intact was a good move. I mean, yeah, like you said, man, yeah, he was good enough to go to console his players, but they were ready to just chuck in the towel and get rid of him, and he just walked away with his dignity, and I think that's the right thing to do. But I do like Angelo. I like Angelo quite a lot. I think he's a very good manager. But back on the subject of celebrations, like I said, I mean, on Saturday, I saw Euro Emery after the final, so he just done a fist pump, quick fist pump, and then work over and shook everyone's hand. That's fine. Little fist pump, great well done team, got away with that one, and then went on to celebrate with players. But just a little fist pump on the sideline where no one can see him, just the camera, obviously, and him shock Robbie Everton's hands is perfectly fine. But some of the celebrations I've seen at Luton. I mean, we're there on merit, but I mean, some of the celebrations for Luton has been trying to entice our fans, and I don't really appreciate them do that because our fans are passionate at the best of times. Every other fans are passionate, but our fans are our home ground where you're giving it all the our ground. It's a little bit intimidating. Do it your own ground. We got to stand on, but do it in our ground. You're sort of coming onto our turf and rubbing it in our face. Not really respectful, really. But
absolutely, I mean, that's Emery to a T. He's a class act, and I tell you something. There are several people sensible gooners who will say that he wasn't given the respect he deserved. And if Arsenal fail to win and Aston Villa are in with a good chance of surprisingly winning, which I don't think they are, they're going to have to beat City, Liverpool, Spurs, and us in the games they have left. But if on the off chance they do and they find themselves with a really good chance of winning, I would love to see them win. I would definitely wouldn't begrudge them that.
But like you said, I mean, people don't give Arteta the credit he deserves. But when he does stuff like that, it don't shine him in any good light, does it? So it gives them a bit of fuel to say I don't appreciate him. It doesn't shine him in a good light. If he was more respectful in stuff that he done, there might be a few heads turned. But he don't shine himself in any good light, really, does he?
Yeah, I agree. But
some of his interviews as well, a little bit.
Something stupid he does, isn't it? Something stupid.
His interviews as well, Steve, a little bit. I'm not sure if I.
Yeah, but that thing with the wife swapping. What about all that?
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. His interviews a bit.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's just ridiculous, really. I mean, a lot of people tried to, you know, the irony is that many of our Arsenal so-called fans took the mickey out of Emery because his English wasn't the best, but he was always trying. I get the feeling that, you know, Arteta's saying some of these things to try to create headlines and people are just going to lap it up. It's utterly stupid. But Mr. B, was there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Well, yeah, obviously we're still talking about that thing with Paul Tierney, obviously, that mistake. What do you think about that, Stephen? Obviously, didn't get your opinion on it. So
yeah, I watched some of the highlights and I watched a little bit of the live TV when I got a chance of that after doing a bit of paperwork and that. And yeah, I mean, it was a little bit weird that he stopped play and then give the ball to Liverpool. It was a little bit. Well, hold on a minute. What? Didn't think he had the ball. That's what I can't remember his name. So did he have the ball? And I said, why didn't he get it back? But giving Liverpool the ball was a bit weird. But yes, it's. I know it did lead to the goal per se, but it gave them the advantage. And I don't know. I mean, it could have ended. I mean, if they give it back to Nottingham Forest, it could have ended up in Liverpool's net. Giving it to Liverpool, it did end up in Nottingham Forest net, but. It was a bit weird what he done. I mean, you can give mistakes, but that was a momental mistake. Little mistakes like a free kick here or there that weren't a free kick, or a penalty here and there that weren't a penalty. You can forgive them a little bit. That's what we've got VAR for. But that was a momental mistake that VAR can't get involved in. So, I mean, yeah, they are human, but. You can see the mistake he made. I mean, in my eyes, I'm glad in one way, but also as a football fan, it was bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's saying here Tierney got drop ball wrong, but why didn't officials help him? That was the thing.
I don't know if linesmen or four officials get involved in a decision he's made. I think his decision is final. I might be wrong. They might be able to get in his ear and say, hold on, you should give it back to Nottingham Forest. It was their ball in the first place. I don't know if they can intervene in his decision or not. I haven't seen it, so I can't comment if they can get involved or not. But yeah, you'd have thought someone might have said to him in his ear, hold on, that was not enforceable. Do you think you made the right decision there? But I don't think they're allowed to overrule him. So until I see it, I can't say if they can or can't. Because I've never seen it. So
sorry. Yeah, I would go so far to say as well that I think I do remember saying to you, Mr. B, that Tierney was probably in two minds because of the supposed severity of Konate's injury. But actually, when you take a look at it, what he could have perhaps done was maybe spoken to the VAR to analyze that injury, and then he could have made the decision. Because it turned out later that Konate injured himself in a collision with his own goalkeeper, Queven Kelleher. Yeah. So, on that instance, you don't give a free kick to Liverpool, and it certainly should have been a drop ball to Forest. So I think that pretty much confirms that the decision was wrong, a poor decision. It shows Tierney in an even worse light. And, quite rightly, there has to be a review of that, and Tierney should probably end up being demoted to the championship sooner rather than later.
Well, yeah.
Because
if it's a collision with your own goalkeeper, it's given to the people that have control of the ball. So he's right.
Exactly. It's bad enough that you don't follow the letter of the law, but to not even, at least have the common sense or the foresight to speak to VAR to analyze that and then make the decision I'm sorry, but as a referee, you are supposed. One of the best things about technology is that when used correctly, it will eliminate mistakes, and also it takes away the idea that the on-field referees are, the judge and jury, and that their authority and integrity cannot be questioned. And obviously, with a cricket connection, because both of you boys are passionate cricket fans, you will know that even when the on-field umpires have their decisions overturned by the video evidence, they don't make a fuss about it. They just calmly they change their decision, and if it's out, it's out. If it's not out, it's called a dead ball. And that way, there's no controversy. Everybody gets along, and in the long term, the game is all the better, and the umpires deserve a lot more respect for their humility. I just think a large number of these referees are a bunch of egomaniacs, to be honest.
But certainly, if he should have got involved with with VAR, couldn't VAR told him, hold on a minute, you might have made a mistake here? Couldn't VAR talk to him as well? Because they look at the game, they look at every position of the game. They could have told him as well, couldn't they? Said, "Oh, Tierney, hold on a minute, you've made a boo-boo here."
They could have, Stepsy, and maybe in hindsight that's what they could have done. But Tierney also should have had the sense to speak to VAR and ask them to try and intervene. And VAR also, in fact, if they had looked at that, they should have seen that that it was a collision between Kelleher and Kanate, and they could have been in Tierney's ear. Maybe they could have also been involved. So you're absolutely right. I think it's a failure of everyone involved, and that is something that has to be avoided. But again, Forest cannot really point to this decision and say this is why they lost, regardless of what Alan Shearer and Jermaine Genius would say. It's still Forest's responsibility to make sure that they make the most of that, and they did in fact regain possession. So when you regain possession, just and when you have the ball on the edge of your own penalty area and you've got an opposing attacker trying to close you down and get the ball, just boot it into Rose Ed's, son. Simple as that.
Yeah. A lot of them don't do it anymore, though, do they? Because they want to play it out from the back. That's what they've been told. Play it out from the back, pass it out from the back. Don't kick it out anymore.
Exactly.
Really, the players of yesteryear would have done that. The Tony Adams, the so forth.
I think what it is, I think what it is, play it up for the back. It means you retain possession. If you boot upfield, there's every chance that the defender on that give it the ball, heading it, give it the ball away. I think what it is you play it from the back, you regain possession, and you sort of get momentum from the back. It's not. I don't agree with it. I think if you've got a good enough team, they'll press it.
Yeah, it's a high-risk strategy, Stepsy. If you play from the back, it's high risk.
If your players ain't good enough at it, either can pass, they're not good enough to pass it out, they shouldn't be doing it, as far as I'm concerned, as well. So, just play what... I mean, it's like us. We don't play out from the back very well, Brentford. We're poor.
Yeah, so are we. So.
Why do we do it? Why do we have to do that? Just play to your strength, surely. Rather than having to pass out all the time. It's just... I don't know, man. I don't get it sometimes. But I just want to read this out, lads, all right? I'm just going to read this out and we'll talk about it a bit more and go into this, right? Instant referee Paul Tierney stops play because of a potential head injury to Liverpool's Ibrahima Kanate. With Nottingham Forest, Callum Hudson-Odoi in possession. The game is restarted with an uncontested drop ball for Liverpool. They score a 99th minute winner less than 2 minutes later. Dermot says, this is Dermot Gallagher, of course. What's the name again? That Manny Kaimanin?
It's Quimin.
Sorry. Yeah. Quimin Kelleher collides with Kanate and knocks him down. If the ref stops play at that point, the ball would go to Kelleher. He chooses not to. The law has changed. When the ball leaves the penalty area and he stops play, the ball then has to be given to the team in possession of the ball, Forest, and it must be dropped at the point where you stopped it. The mistake the referee made was dropping the ball in the penalty area rather than outside. What happened after is a red herring because it was 1 minute, 50 seconds before the goal was scored. I can't see that that's directly attributable to Liverpool scoring the goal. It didn't lead directly to a goal, so that they, VAR, can't get involved. It's also from a restart. They don't watch restarts. It's goals, red cards. Tierney will be beating himself up about it, but also questioning why didn't one of my colleagues say anything? As soon
Also,
as
they
the ball
can.
goes dead, so hold on a minute, Stetsy, I'm just finishing it.
Right,
As soon as the ball goes dead, you should be saying to your colleagues, remember to tell me how to restart the game. It's basic refereeing. Right, go on, mate. Go on. So
I was just saying, like you said, they can speak to him. Because you just said
Yeah.
my colleague should be able to tell me. So they can speak to him. That's just cleared up my question.
Yeah.
That can the linesman that tell him that they made a boo boo? Obviously they can.
Yeah, so why didn't they?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, exactly. Like I said there, my colleague should have told me.
So they've left him in the shit a bit, really, haven't they? Let's be honest. And I mean, I think Kieran, his son, won't be happy either. But anyway,
They're not related, you know that.
I know. I'm joking. Lenny, but,
I was waiting for.
Yeah, I knew that. I'm sorry.
I thought
A
Lenny
light
didn't
moment
quite get
here.
that.
A light moment. I'm sorry. That was silly.
Yeah, but so anyway, yeah, I feel for him a bit there because his colleagues, as they say, they should have helped him out.
Yeah, but then again, he should have made the mistake in the first place in a way, Mr. B, should he?
True. Yeah.
There's faults. There's faults everywhere. His colleagues not telling him getting it wrong in the first place. You can point blame at everyone.
Yeah. And Stephen Warnock, Neil's son, he said he's got it wrong.
Luke might have paid him.
There's no two ways about it. There's a lot to go on before the goal, but it's a poor decision. You got to read the players. Look at the Forest players and go, why are they moaning so much? Hold on a minute. I'm a referee. If I'm a ref, I'm thinking, what are you all shouting at me for? Have a quiet word. What's the problem? Then you can talk to your officials and get it right. It's the heat of the moment. It's not the easiest task.
I think what the problem is, Steve, with that is when every player goes up to him, he's inclined not to speak to any of them. I think the rule was that if there's a discrepancy in the game, and it's the captain that goes up to speak to the referee, not everyone, just the captain. He goes up and says, "Look, could you give us the reason why?" Not everyone go up there going, no, one person, captain, ask him. That's what the rule was. Chelsea don't follow it. We know that. Chelsea never follow it. But it should be one person that's the captain. That's what the rule was. If you've got a discrepancy, captain asks the referee.
Yeah,
so the captain should have done the easy thing. Captain should have done the easy thing, pushed everyone away and said, let me speak to him first.
That's right.
Everyone back, I'll speak to him, and then you speak to him.
No. But they all crowd out the referee. All the players get in the referee.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem. It should be the rule was captain is allowed to ask the referee why. Yeah. He's allowed to ask. Not everyone, just him. That was the rule. I don't know what the rule is now, but I still see every women player, Tom Dick and Harry, from the team go around the referee giving him grief. But it was meant to be only the captain. But the rule. But then again, no one follows that rule. So really, I mean, we have seen a few referees. We have seen a few referees where a foul has been committed and he's called the both captains over and explained it to them, which is good. Which is good officiating, I think. Where he's given the free kick. They're both a bit more why. And he's called both captains over to give them the reason why. But if there's a problem they've got with the referee, it's the captain that goes to the referee. But you make your conclusion. No one follows it.
I mean, there was something actually saying that he said something to Van Dijk, who was obviously the captain.
Which is,
but they don't know what it said. Yeah, I see it somewhere. I don't know exactly what he said to him. I don't know exactly. I don't know if either of you two know what was said.
No, I've heard nothing. I know he went over and spoke to him, but I don't know what he said.
Yeah, because there was obviously something about it, but I'll have to find that in a minute. Yeah, these other things, obviously, this thing with Rashford as well.
Never fell.
Yeah. It says weak, no foul on Rashford before Foden.
It wasn't.
Goal.
It wasn't. He put a hand on him.
No, it's only a little thing, wasn't it? And I think how he went down, that was embarrassing as far as I'm concerned.
But what happened was Rashford was in goal. Walker got the side of him, and he sort of nearly off balance. He's put his hand on Rashford. Didn't pull him or push him. He sort of tried to get his balance. His hand went on his back, and then he managed to get his balance to get the ball. There's no foul in that. If you're a big strong player, right, and Rashford's got a bit of athletic prowess. His balance is pretty good, and he has got a bit of power. You don't go down over that trying on the referee, because 9 times out of 10 the referee does give it, but there'll be that one time the referee didn't give it, and that was the time he didn't.
Yeah, but they do buy things too easy, these refs, unfortunately.
That's the problem. I mean, that's the problem. But like I said, 9 times out of 10 they'll give it because they get conned, like you just said. But there's that one time where he'll try and con the referee, and it just didn't happen.
Man United fans say they were wrong. One of
the
funniest things ever.
It is.
Yeah. Well,
Chris knows. You see, Chris knows. I like Chris when he comes in. He knows the rules.
But you see that City deserved that win. At the end of it all, they were a much better team in the end.
It's a great goal from Rashford. But what Rashford could do, Foden could do as well.
He's been awesome, Foden again, though.
Oh, he has, yeah. I mean, he's definitely on that plane in the summer.
It's got to be, yeah. They say it wrong if you don't pick him. Let's be honest, but then we can say that a lot about with Southgate, who he picks sometimes. But yeah,
we do wonder sometimes who he does pick. Like we were talking about the other day, like why Watkins is in the discussion for England. Why isn't Solanke? Sort of thing. It's the same sort of thing. If you don't pick him, we'll be asking why, and we'll still say those kind of questions when he picks the Europe lineup, because he's going to put Phillips. We're going to say why.
Yeah. Well, as long as you don't put Nketiah in there, it should be all right, isn't it?
If he's got the hat-trick tonight, it might be a little bit different.
Yeah, well, he done that against them last time, didn't he? He got a hat-trick.
That's what Ollie was saying. Wasn't he? I was saying the other day that Nketiah could spring a few surprises tonight. I don't know what Matty thinks. Matty thinks the same.
Nketiah found his level, but yeah. Oh god! But yeah, what's this Chris saying here? Southgate has nudes of Phillips. Oh man! Oh, nice one, Chris. That was brilliant, man. Yeah, go and check this guy's channel out. I bet I've been looking at some of his content. It's really good, you know. His videos.
Yeah, he's done a few antidotes that do catch your eye.
Yeah, because he's also a supporter of Liverpool as well, isn't he? So,
yeah. Carlisle, Liverpool.
Yeah, so yeah, I do check his stuff out. It's really good, you know. Everyone should go and have a look at that. Really good content, you know. Chris, if you want to put your link in stuff for all your channel and everything, mate, it's fine. You know, I'm happy with that, mate. If you want to put it in, and so people can go and follow you, you know.
Mate, what's your take on the Walker Rashford challenge, so to speak?
Not a foul. Walker played the situation very well, and Rashford really should have known better.
Yeah, there was nothing in it, was there?
There was nothing in it, because there weren't.
Yeah.
I think, like I said, I think Walker was the right side of him. I think he lost his balance a bit and put his hand on him. There was no intent to put him down, because like we've seen the replay 1,000 times. It was hand, not pull or tug or anything. It's just Rashford trying to call the referee again.
Yeah. And that Edison one was a good one as well. Avoid Garnacho foul.
That was a great tackle. I'll tell you what, that was a world-class defending tackle.
Yeah.
That was a great tackle. Any defender would be proud of that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, he does play like a defender at times. Edison,
Yeah, well, he's classed in Man City a sweeper keeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, I have seen him, you know, make some pretty poor mistakes. I mean, the timing of that tackle, mind you, from Edison on Garnacho was spot on. Had it been a millisecond off, we would have been talking a definite penalty and a possible red card for the goalkeeper. So well done to him. He got his timing spot on.
Yeah.
Fantastic tackle. That was fantastic.
And that other thing Edison done where he managed, he controlled it on the line. You remember that Wembley thing where he done it across the line?
Oh yeah.
I think that was stupid. I don't want to see my goalkeeper taking risks like that.
you saw Ortega try and do it, and he messed it up.
Yeah. What about if Martinez does it, Manny? Would you
If Martinez, if Emi Martinez does it, I'll be screaming bloody murder. I don't want my goalkeeper doing any of that. I mean, last season, in fact, with an Arsenal connection, last season when we played them at Villa Park and we took a 3-2 lead through that Peter Schmeichel-esque own goal, Martinez saw it fit to try to go up for a corner. He thought it was the right thing to do at the time because, you know, there was a possibility of maybe rescuing a point, but it ended up failing and it led to an open goal. And his former close friend at Arsenal, I mean, they were very close. They probably still are. Gabriel Martinelli said, "Muito obrigado, meu mal." Thank you very much indeed, my brother.
Yeah.
And celebrated before scoring, but it was an empty net, and that was it. And ever since then, Unai Emery read Martinez the right act and told him, "You will never do that again." Hasn't done it since.
No, until I tell you to go up, you stay where you are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. This thing with Cliver got away with Cullen red.
I think I tell you what, that challenge was nasty. But I was sitting here with a mate of mine, and we were saying that it's a common striker's tackle.
Yeah.
We see strikers all the time. We see strikers get back and they make awful challenges because they're not defenders. And we were saying that's definitely a striker's tackle, but it was reckless. It looked like he weren't in control of it. I believe it should have been a red.
Yeah, should they get away with it just because it's a striker's challenge? Because
because
it's still a foul, isn't it?
No, because you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. Instead of player, you know what you're doing. And he just decided to go in, thinking that he could win the ball. He went in. I don't think he's in control of it. I really don't. Even though his foot was planted on the floor, I still think he slid in with intent. And I think that with the intent there, I think it's a red. You might not be that kind of player, but from what he done, it was a red.
Yeah, well, I think there was games in the Championship. I don't know if it was the other day, and I don't know if you see him, Stepsy. One where the guy touched him on the back of his calf.
Yes, right in the joint.
And he only got. Did he only get a yellow? He wasn't even.
No, I think he got reversed in the end. I think the fourth official came and said that at the word with the referee. I think he gave him red in the end. But no, it was similar to it weren't as bad as the one that happened against Brighton, that Brighton one. But it was a reckless challenge no matter what. And if the intent's there, and you're sort of going in full force on a player who's got the ball, and you don't touch the ball before the player, then it's a red. And I think he caught the player before he got the ball. And it was a striker's challenge, and you shouldn't be making that kind of challenge because you run the risk. You are.
Yeah, of course you are. But then I think nowadays you seem to get away with it most of the time. But really, so he wouldn't have been on the pitch to score that goal, then, would he? Cliver. So.
Chris, that sort of comment you just had up, Steve. If you put it back up and have a comment about that, I think he's spot on with that.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to watch the highlights of the Burnley-Bournemouth game, looking for that tackle. I can't seem to find it. Obviously, there was an earlier tackle
about that, Manny, in a Bournemouth fan.
No, I mean, the game was actually being streamed, but what was being shown on the telly. But for some reason, I felt tired and couldn't watch it. I was trying to conserve my energies really for the Manchester derby
Oh,
because
yeah.
that was probably more
That
consequential
was the best
for
one.
me as an Arsenal fan. And
Yeah, what time was that for you? What time was that for you when the Man United game was on?
I think it was I want to say 9 o'clock my time. It was 3:30 p.m. over in the UK, so
Yeah.
9 o'clock my time. So
Okay.
there was actually an earlier tackle that Kluivert made in a game against Liverpool, and Klopp was absolutely fit to be tied with that tackle. I'm just trying to see if I can't find that, but
It's quite
you know-
similar. Quite similar. Not
Well, what does
quite similar. I wouldn't say it's great, but
Steve, what does Dermot Gallagher say about it?
Right, okay, mate. I'll read it out. Right, right. He says this is the other one, Zuma. Hold on a minute. I'll go back to that.
well, that's better.
Yeah, he got a yellow for one earlier in the season. So the referee's been consistent, foot on foot, yellow card. Higher up the leg, red card. Not a nice tackle. Yeah. So basically, I think he's saying he should have been off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think you're right. If you go in low and get the foot, I think it's a yellow card because you still make contact with the player, but it's not reckless. High up the leg, knee upwards, or maybe even ankle upwards. I think you run the risk of intent of injuring the player. I don't know if that's the right term, intent, but that's what you get red cards for when you intend there to cause harm. Or professional foul, as people say, but my mate says there's no such thing as a professional foul.
No.
And he's a ref, so
no. There's always little sneaky things you always think you can get away with, isn't it? So you call it the dark arts, really, isn't it?
Well, you
really,
say, yeah, but you see the same thing. You know, when the defender's down by the corner flag by his area, and if he feels a touch on him, he goes down. The referee buys it.
Yeah,
you see that all the time when they're down by their own area, they fall over because they've been breathed on. The referee gives it.
Yeah, mate. It's something to nothing, and they go down and they get the free kick.
They get the free kick for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to change anytime soon, but
yeah, they're so gullible, these refs. Unfortunately, I don't know. I don't get it, but unfortunately, they haven't played the game. So how would they know? How would they know what's a proper tackle and what isn't? You know. So,
I think a few of them, previous referees, I believe, have played semi-pro, but I don't think they've ever made the grade of playing in the actual professional game. So I think you're right. I don't think any of them have played the actual art of what we call world football now, or class players in the game.
Yeah. So I don't know if you're still looking at that, Manny, that challenge, or
yeah, still wasn't quite able to see it. And I tell you what, Kluivert was actually booked earlier in the game for that, before that challenge, and I think maybe the referee probably wanted to use his discretion and say, Justin, you're treading a fine line here. I mean, had the tackle been any more serious, he would definitely have been sent off. But maybe he felt that, you can give him just one more verbal warning, but the next harsh tackle and he's off. And maybe he felt as though it was the referee felt as though it was his discretion, his call to say, you know what, I don't want to book that. And maybe there wasn't too much of an intent. You stamp on a player's foot, there isn't necessarily that much intent, and sometimes it can look a lot worse than it actually is. But
if the booking is a booking, I'd still think that they should, like you said, play the letter to the law. It's a booking. It's a booking. He's off.
Yeah.
I get the thing about referees' discretion, but the letter of the law is if it's a foul, you book him. If he's got a booking already, unlucky.
Yeah.
Don't put yourself in the predicament of being booked. If you're there, I know you get these top players that are booked and they're still going for challenges, open for the best. But if you're not a tackler, if you're just a striker, but especially a striker, Why, if you're being booked already, why run the risk of getting yourself another booking and getting sent off? You don't run that risk. You should know in your mind. Hold on a minute, I'm on a booking here. The referee's already got me. Should I be going in for a challenge? Because a lot of players now, you see him pull out. Now you see him think, well, I'm a booking. I'll stay with the player, but I won't touch him. I'll stay with him. I'll mark him. I'll run with him, but I won't touch him because they're scared that they've been booked.
I mean, if you're smart enough, you don't do that. You don't lunge in or
no.
whatever.
You stay with him. You've been booked. You know if you go in again, you're going to get booked again. You just run beside him and push him as wide as you can and keep him out there. Don't touch him.
I mean, to be honest, his dad was a little bit guilty of the odd overzealous sort of tackle, I should say.
Patrick,
To be a little bit on the dirty side. For a great player as he was, Patrick Kluivert, he could be a little bit dirty at times as well. So, you know, it obviously runs in the family, doesn't it? But you know, saying that, he scored a goal. And that was important for Bournemouth.
Very important.
1-2-0. And so... that's got them a bit. I think where were they? I can't really remember. Were they in the bottom half, weren't they?
Yeah, I think they're 14th at the time, but I think they're up to 12 now.
Yeah, it's given them a bit of breathing space there. I think now, because they were in danger of almost getting down with us. Really,
he's done a good job though. I mean, their manager, he's done a good job. After his rocky start, like we all said. Oh, I don't know if they made the right choice bringing a foreign manager. It's not working for Bournemouth for that. After we said that, we were in our own words because he's turned it around.
I suppose that's what you get for playing with Arteta all them years ago, isn't it? Yeah.
You're really pushing it on manager. You're trying to get a reaction, I swear. You're pushing for a reaction, Steve. You're pushing one.
If you had those two, man, who would you rather play in your team? Arteta or the what's his name again? The Bournemouth
Iriola. And
who would you have out of those two?
Iriola, easy, because Iriola actually got capped for Spain and would have been a European champion had injury not robbed him of his chance to be in the Euro 2012 squad.
Or what was he?
I think he was a defender. I think.
Oh right. So was he actually really good? I never seen him play at all. Was he actually quite good? Really?
He was decent. I mean, he had a long career with Athletic Bilbao, one of their all-time appearance leaders, and yeah, he wasn't too bad at all. And obviously, a good coaching stint with Ryan Vallecano before coming to Bournemouth. So, an ambitious appointment from Bill Foley, which very nearly didn't work, but now he seems to have found his bearings in a way.
Yeah, he seemed.
I think it's a lot of people that come over from different backgrounds in football come to the Premiership, find it a little bit difficult. But if you've got a good pedigree like Ariola has, you adapt. You find the formula that works, and he's found the formula that works. I think. Along with Luton, I think we're still trying to find the formula. Okay, yeah, we're getting the goal still and still a defeat, but at some point, and I say this because it's we're getting to the nitty and gritty. At some point, and it's got to be now or never, we've got to turn that into a win instead of a defeat.
Well, when you come back against Villa the other day, you should at least got a point or win.
You should have won.
Yeah, because Villa were poor in that second half. I only really had one or two shots in the end in the second half?
Yeah, I think, Watkins did have a shot in the second half. Menji marked him out of the game pretty well. The only shot they had a shot that went just wide of the post, and then the one that Dean had a header, free header. I don't know what Kabore was doing. He wasn't even goal side of him. He let him waltz in. He was running back to try and catch him. By the time he got to him, the header was already back in the back of the net. He just let him go. I mean, basic defending is be goal side of the player. Basic 101. Be goal side. I mean, as long as you go side, it gives him a harder chance to place it. Kabore is nowhere near him. Free header, and DM must have thought all my bursts have come at once.
Yeah.
Great ball in. Not going to decide the ball in. The ball in was quality. But then again, that was closing down that we should have done. And Kabore should have been a goal side of him. If that But that say 3 minutes before that, if Morris's card and copy of this first goal would have gone in the net, it could have been totally different.
Yeah, and
you got one in.
Yeah. You got
And then the
supposedly
second one,
understrength team, haven't you? An understrength team.
very understrength. I told I was a shower. There's 7 key players that I named that were out.
Better team in the second half, much better team, and you should have won it.
I think what made the difference, and a few people might question me if they've watched this back, but I think when Hashikoda came on, the Japanese international, he made the difference. It showed up. It looked more sure defence. So I expect him to start on Saturday, and it's a big game on Saturday. We've got Palace away.
Well, you'd fancy yourselves there against Palace, wouldn't you? Surely.
Well, I don't want us to be favourites, put it that way, because we're favourites against Sheffield United. Look what happened.
yeah, we know about them as well. Don't worry.
No, I expect him to start. I hope there's 1 or 2 players that are back on the old running bike that have been out, namely Lukonga and Adebayo. They're back on training in the gym, so they can't be far off getting back on the grass. So hopefully there might be 1 or 2 players back for Palace, but if not, we'll go with what we've got, and hopefully we can get a result. The injuries have come at the worst point, really. Yeah. Start of the season, okay, maybe we could have forgiven it, but now at the back end of the season, having injuries now is just not the right time to have them. Where points are like gold dust, and they really are at this point of the season. Points are gold dust.
Exactly, mate. I've got one last thing to talk about before we go, guys, because obviously we want to bounce in a minute. So been on here about 1 hour 37 minutes, so a long time. But it's been a good debate again, really brilliant. So there's this one last thing I'm going to bring up here. Might call it a minor thing. It's not really in the Premier or anything like that, but it's this thing. Top Girls Football League faces being shut down by the Football Association for refusing to allow a boy to play in its matches. So I'll read this and then we can discuss it. Yeah. The FA has threatened the West Riding Girls Football League with sanctions. One of the biggest girls' football leagues in the country faces being shut down by the Football Association for refusing to allow a boy to play in its matches. The Mail on Sunday can reveal that a row has broken out between the FA and officials running the female league in Yorkshire after parents complained the son had not been allowed to join. It is understood the FA has threatened the West Riding Girls Football League with sanctions and a possible suspension if it does not agree to let boys on the pitch. A scenario officials have branded a massive threat to the girls' game. Last week, an emergency meeting was held by organisers of the league, which has at least 6,000 under-18 girls playing across more than 300 teams, where managers voiced their concerns that allowing boys to play would open the floodgates. The FA's gender policy states that any under-16 teams must allow both boys and girls to play, despite admitting that physical strength, stamina or physique can put one sex at the disadvantage of the other. At the end of October last year, the boys' parents asked the West Riding Girls League if their son could join due to him not wanting to play with other boys, and also because of his ability level. But after the league declined their request, the parents launched an appeal with the West Riding County Football Association, overseen by the National FA, which allegedly told the organisers they were in no position to refuse the application and would face sanctions for doing so. An email from the league secretary to its members last week said, "This is a massive threat to the girls' game and we should be mindful that this could be a long struggle should we fight this head on." I won't go into any more, but we can... what can you discuss that, guys?
Okay, first thing is, right, on that last statement is, why didn't you want to play with other boys? What's the rule? What's the rule there? Why didn't you want to play with other boys? Because it said, oh, he wanted to join the girls' team because he didn't want to play with other boys. Why didn't he want to play with other boys? Is the first question. But let's bypass that for a debate. Yeah, good point. There was boys and girls should be allowed to play in the league because the application shouldn't be refused. There could be sanctions, but it's the same. It's the same in some schools. You got boys team. There's no girls, but a few girls want to play on the boys team, and some schools allow it, some don't. But this is a football. So this is a football matter by the Association Yorkshire Association or something, who said the application shouldn't be refused. So they refused it on their background. But if the FA have said, Yorkshire FA have said they shouldn't refuse it, then something between the lines has gone wrong there.
I mean,
but the question is, why didn't you want to play with our boys? Is one of my questions. It's really bugging me.
I mean, in this day and age,
you want to play with the girls because you want to play with our boys.
Allowed. In this day and age, Stepsy, this should be allowed, mate, because this is the way. So, I mean, even back in the day, I think at my school we had sort of mixed teams. You had male and female.
Yeah, but saying that,
I don't know
saying that, you got the Women's Super League now, and that's been and England Lionesses who have raised the profile of the Super League by winning the Euros and getting to the final of the World Cup, which should have won.
Yeah.
It's raised the profile of the women's game. It's raised the profile of the women's game. You've yesterday or today you've got a women's league game, a derby between Arsenal and Tottenham, I think. And that's and lots of teams go, lots of fans go to that. There's 50,000 at Arsenal for their last game they played at home, and that women's game. So it's evolved, and I think the girls' team that we're speaking about, I think they're thinking, well, hold on, if we let a boy in, if it doesn't allow one of our girls who could get to the Super League not make it. So it could hamper his and the boy, it can hamper his progress. And the boy, he can have his progress. Yeah, but he can have his progress if he wants to get into football. That can have his progress as well. But like you said, yeah, there should be no gender. It should be gender neutral. If I want to be honest, it should be gender neutral. But if the FA of that organisation said boys, the application should be allowed, then they should abide by that rule and let him play.
Yeah. What do you think about this, Manny?
Yeah, well, obviously, I think as Stepsy. Why am I hearing an echo?
No, it's not me,
yeah,
mate.
It's good. It's good. I think Stepsy's switched off his speaker or something like that. So obviously, as Stepsy has mentioned, when we were playing football, at school, especially when you're much younger, it is definitely gender neutral, and you have unisex teams, obviously, or unigender teams, I think, if that's the word, and boys and girls play on the same team. I also remember playing in a youth soccer league in the Middle East for a season, which I absolutely enjoyed. We had girls on our team as well, playing along with the boys. I just think, though, that it's one thing to sort of have this at a much younger level if you're under 16, especially. Especially if you're sort of up to the age of 12 or maybe 13 or something like that, before development hits, when the physical differences and the strength and everything are not as evident. But obviously, as children get older and go through, I don't like saying the word, but it's a medical term. I have to say it, puberty. Obviously those those particular qualities end up standing out, and boys in girls teams end up sticking out like sore thumbs, and vice versa. And of course, back in the day, girls would play with boys teams in order to sharpen their skills because there weren't too many teams available for women to play. Now, of course, the situation has changed. You have women's teams everywhere.
Women's leagues everywhere.
Yeah. So I'd like to see a policy changed in that, instead of making it simply under 16, so that, the 15, 14 and 13 and 14-year-olds don't really get affected that much. I would like to see it sort of go down a little bit of a lower level, because obviously puberty is a factor, and that way you won't have this sort of a controversy. I'm all
No.
for having girls and boys play on the same team, but there is also a case where sometimes, we already deal with the controversy about having, people who change their genders being allowed to compete in the sport of their new gender, and I'm actually all for people competing in their new sport, in their new gender. I'm not one of those people who says, if a boy changes his gender to become a girl and then competes as a woman, it'll be to an unfair advantage. No, that's not always the case. It's not necessarily the case, but
I got
you
on
know,
that.
so, sometimes when it comes to issues like this, and Stepsy asks the question, why didn't the boy want to play with the boys' team? It's also mentioned that his ability level was not really of the best. If your ability level isn't really of the best, then you've got to try to practice
Isn't that
and
a piss
improve.
take towards the girls? Because you're saying, oh, their level ain't that great then. Because he's sort of saying, well, look, my ability is not great, so I'll go and play with the girls.
It could be.
Mickey,
It could be. Yeah, it could be. And like, I've got the floor here, so I'm going to talk a little bit more about
go
this.
on,
And
Manny.
obviously,
Carry on, mate.
I've seen situations where sometimes boys wouldn't be allowed to play on boys' teams, and maybe he decided he didn't want to play. Maybe he felt as though he was being ostracized in the way. And I've been there. I mean, there have been occasions when I've wanted to try and play on a team, and nobody would let me play because nobody would think I was good enough. And eventually, sometimes you just have to trust yourself, in that, knowing that trust yourself and know that you can improve your skills and maybe get an opportunity. And when you get an opportunity, you somehow try to make the most of it. And Mr. B, you might have a bit of a point. It could perhaps be a little bit of a Mickey take in some ways, or it can be, maybe he doesn't see gender, maybe he sees it as an opportunity to develop his skills. I mean, obviously, if it's an under 16, if he's 14 or 15, he can't be that naive, if you know what I mean. But there are going to be some other opportunities to play. I think obviously, if FA policy states that there shouldn't be this this rule which forbids boys from playing in girls' leagues and girls from playing in boys' leagues, and vice versa, then the league will have to abide by that. But the policy of the FA is completely misguided, and has to take into consideration the fact that at a certain age, once people reach puberty, the strength will be evident. I mean, you take a look at Wayne Rooney, for instance. That fellow, broke into football with an absolute bang by scoring that worldie past David Seaman at Goodison Park. And I'll never forget the size
of... played in the girls' team at one stage. I thought that's what you were going to say. But,
no.
16, wasn't he? 16.
No, you take a look at that fella and you think there's no way that bloke could look 16. I mean,
no.
He could walk in. He could walk into a liquor store and get himself a bottle of Chardonnay or a Merlot or a Shiraz without having anyone ask him for proof of his age. That's how developed he looked. And so there is
he could go into a liquor store and get preserved.
Maybe, yeah. But the point I'm making, fellas, is that when you get to a certain age, puberty does kick in, and that is why the FA needs to change its policy. If I'm all for inclusion, but there will obviously be a limit. And if you want to avoid these possible situations, then there will come a time when you will have to limit the age at which unisex involvement can be prevalent. And obviously, when you get to an amateur or professional level, you never see boys playing in women's leagues or women playing in the men's leagues. You don't see any of that nonsense. I'm delighted that we've got women refereeing and acting as officials in the men's game. That is long overdue. But when it comes to players,
better than the men as well. A lot better than the men. Some of them. Let's be honest.
Absolutely. And again, if a boy or a man were to change his gender and become a woman, I would have absolutely no problem seeing him compete. Because in many ways, it's also an opportunity for the other women to try to help raise their own skills in a way. It's not so much an unfair disadvantage. I know some people in some sports may disagree, but I'm always for inclusion. But if you are, you know, because for obvious reasons, I mean, if you have a lone boy playing with the girls, you know what happens when you have the post-match, you know, ablutions or bathing? What about changing rooms?
Well,
What about that
he couldn't do
protocol?
that with him. He'd have to be in his own separate dressing room. But
Absolutely,
yeah,
and there are so many things that have to be considered
mm,
here. So the FA has to change its policy and really take a look at it in order to avoid such issues creeping up. And in case anyone calls me a bigot, I am far from being bigoted. I've said it clearly. I'm all for inclusion, but parameters have to be respected, and including issues such as you know, child development, physical development, and puberty, and all of that stuff. And you've got to yeah, the FA has to be a little bit more sensible in that regard. I mean, because as I said, Rooney never looked 16, and here he was playing in
yeah.
the Premier League. So, you know, you never know what could happen these days. Stepsy, you can come in now.
Yeah, on your gender change of gender, I've got one query on it, and that was it was with athletics. Can you remember the South African woman? She looked like a man. Yeah, do you see she looked like a man? She was a man, and she competed in the women's, and she was like built like a British house, excuse my pun, and she obliterated everyone.
It's a woman, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a woman, but she used to be a man. I think she used to be a man.
Well, I think she changed. I think drugs things. The what do you call it? What do you call it?
Hormone replacements.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that thing.
Yeah. I think she was. I think she was a man, but she changed the gender to female. I think she actually got the surgery done. But I'm just saying, she was built like a man. She was probably like she was taller than all the women. She was muscled than all the women. She was more athletic than the women. And I just think in that sort of aspect, I don't know how she could compete because she was far superior than any other woman in the field that she was competing in on the track.
A major advantage over the others. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not against people changing gender. If a man is trapped in a woman's body, he should be able to change, or a man is trapped in a woman's body, he should be able to change. I'm all for that. If they want to do that, that's fine. But that was one thing that I saw as a major disadvantage in the athletics game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but well, as I said, it just means that you know the women are going to have to work a little bit harder. But you never see too many female athletes kicking up a stink about it, and that's the thing, you know, because you've got to be.
There's an inquiry about it, a big incentive inquiry about it, though.
Well, maybe in some respects, but look, it just means that you know the women are going to have to strive a little bit harder, and that's pretty much you know, a part of it. And if it's athletics, you know, it is going to be drug tested. So hormone therapy will probably be, you know, the maximum that they can do. They're certainly not going to, you know, try run the risk of testing positive for any of these ridiculous steroids. I mean, you know, we all remember what happened to. Exactly. I mean, I'm just glad that when Linford Christie won his gold medal at Barcelona, he was clean of drugs at the time, and he will always be one of. I mean, obviously, you know, there were athletes who won a lot more medals, including a certain Sir Mohamed Farah, our greatest of all time.
Brownie brothers.
Who?
The Brownie brothers. The triathletes.
Oh, yeah. Alison and Jonathan.
Yeah.
Alison, Jonathan, and also Jonathan Edwards, the triple jumper. But, you know, the 100 meters is always regarded as the marquee event at the Olympics. Yes. And therefore, if you win a gold medal in that, you are pretty much... you pretty much solidified your legacy, as it were, in a way. I mean, after the disgrace of Ben Johnson, at least Canada can cheer Donovan Bailey. And we have Linford Christie, and we could have had a few more. We could have had Dwayne Chambers. We could have had a lot of others, but
not quite good,
you know, but just wasn't meant to be. Yeah, just wasn't meant to be. But yeah, as I said, if these athletes are going to take hormone replacement therapy and still and be therefore legally allowed to compete as women, then you know just let them do it. And people who say that they shouldn't be allowed to, I think you know you can't bang the drum for equality and inclusion and then change it to support your agenda. But what I will say with regard to this issue of the boy playing in the girls' leagues is that the FA's policy has got to be relooked at. Simple as that.
I wasn't saying she weren't allowed to compete. I was just saying I thought it was a little bit of a disadvantage. That's all. I wasn't saying it's wrong.
Agreed.
If the FA board said we have no problem with it, then that's it. That's the end of the matter. She was allowed to compete. Done.
Exactly.
Really, she was
so
dominating
that's the end of it
all the time. She was dominating and winning all the time, and that was
that's the only problem I had. She was dominating, but if it, like I just said, if the FA board saw no problem with it, and if it was a blood board, the drugs she was taking was all kosher, then she was able to compete. That should be the end of the matter.
I mean,
Exactly.
it took a while to
Everyone
find out.
Everyone can go to the board and say I don't agree with it, but ultimately the board's decision is final when she was able to compete. So
it took a while to find out Florence Griffiths-Joyner, wasn't it? She had all the drugs. She done all that.
That's a totally different story. That is
enhancing.
That's a huge story.
Make
that
her
is
faster. Make her faster.
It's called performance enhanced drugs. Yeah, you can't take them.
And she got away with it for all that time, and she won all the events. I mean, rest in peace, Flo. But at the end of the day, it's still
it's strange that the only person that got found for doing stuff was like that was Tour de France bloke Armstrong. Yeah, he was the one that got found out. I mean, there should be more clamping down on it, but like I said, back on the gender thing. Yeah, she was able to compete, so end of. And yeah, back on the football thing. Yeah, if the football say that boys should be allowed to play on it, then they should turn around and abide by that rule.
Yeah.
I don't agree. I'm a little bit. They shouldn't be suspended or expelled from the league. They should just say, look, we'll give you the benefit of the doubt. You let the boy play, it'll be the end of the matter. You don't, we'll have to take sanctions a little bit further, like suspend them for a couple of games or all that, but don't expel them for the league. Because these girls, it's not the girls' fault, it's the actual club's fault. It's not the girls' fault. The girls deserve a right to play.
Yeah.
But yeah, back on Steve's cherry.
Well, this is Stephen Featley, actually.
Yeah.
This is what
That's what I said, Stephen. You're Steve.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, sorry, yeah.
He goes by Stephen. You don't call him Steve. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he was Stephen Featley. He was, never forgotten by anyone there. I mean, I know you didn't see him, Stephen, but
no, but I've heard stories about him, and he seemed like a great guy. So yeah, I'm condolences to everyone that knew him and his family, obviously.
Yeah, just 28 years old. That's still young, isn't it?
Too young.
Still very young. Too young to die there. But he battled it bravely all the time. Everything, this liver disease, it's a horrible thing. Just like prostate or anything,
He had a few transplants, didn't he?
Yeah, it's 6, yeah.
Yeah. Incredible.
Yeah, amazing, and he kept fighting all the time. He didn't want to die. Well, nobody does, do they? But we're all going to get there one day. But
inevitable. But that age,
yeah. But there's some even younger that haven't seen life, and he was lucky to have his life that he had, wasn't he? So
yeah, that's exactly what he would have said. I mean, at least he was able to see a few things that others couldn't quite see, but.
Especially meeting Lewis Hamilton and all that. He met Lewis Hamilton and all that. So
yep.
In a way, you got to think to him. In a way, you got to think he lived the way the life he wanted to live. He wasn't going to let it hamper him. Like I say, because what I heard from you, Manny, and I've heard some stories that he lived life the way he wanted to, and he was always up for a laugh and always a giggle. So, and that's a great attribute for a character that knew life was on his back. But then it hamper him, and enough respect and enough praise should go up for a person who knew he was up against it, but then it felt him anyway. And I've got a lot of time for people that have these problems, but still live life they want to live it. Yeah. Don't just sit there and wait for the inevitable to happen. Or God bless it, he probably didn't want to die, but that have these problems, and they don't just wallow in their pity waiting for it to happen. They live life to the way they want to live it, and live life they see fit, and he did.
Well, you've only got one life at the end of the day. It's how you live it is the way
Yes.
it is, isn't it? The way it should be. But and he lived every day to its fullest. The life he had. So, we were never going to forget him at all. No one's going to forget him. A lot of us, especially that met him and was on his shows and all that, and so he was obviously a big Arsenal fan, of course, and Formula One. He done other sports. Well, obviously there's other sports as well, man. He was a few others, wasn't there? Was it American?
No,
football?
it was mainly football and Formula One. I don't think he had too much interest in other sports.
Oh, I thought he was into American football and stuff, or baseball or something, or whatever. But I don't know. Maybe
I'm not. Those things weren't exactly his cup of tea, mate.
Oh, right. Well, I got that wrong then, didn't I? I actually didn't know him as well as you lot did, or whatever. But
well, Mr. B.
Well, not you, Steve, because you never seen him, or met him. But obviously Manny did, and he knew him a long time, didn't you, Manny? So
yep, very long.
Yeah, but anyway, as I say, please click on this link here, the child liver disease. Please click on that and donate whatever you can to it. It's brilliant, whatever you can, $5 or even say £3, £2, even something like that. Anything that contributes to it, keeps that going up, the fundraising and stopping this horrible disease, And I think at least a couple of times in the year we should have probably a proper sort of stream to do it, to raise money and stuff. I think that'd be great. Whether we'd be allowed to, I don't know. I suppose you've got to ask permission maybe from the family. That might be the best thing. But I think it would help a great deal. And I think it'd be in memory of him, be a real tribute to him as well. So
I don't think it's also fish to the family. If you want to do a sort of a charity, a stream for that a charity like that, and the actual liver condition, you can do stream that, and you can do your dad's. I can do my mum's what she had. If Manny's got any charities that he likes, we can do something like that as well.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. Yeah, we got to do all that.
If you want to do a stream for childdisease.org, you could just do one. It's a charity, but it's you doing a charity for them to raise money. It's not. Yeah, it's not wholly his. Yeah. It's an organisation is involved in. So if you want to put money into that on his behalf, then it should be a problem.
Yeah, well, I'm going to keep this going on my streams.
Oh yeah, of course.
Quite a few streams now. I'm going to keep this on here, and keep it going.
It's a very well charity.
Yeah. I'll do it on the cricket one, and I'll do it on whatever my football ones all the time. I'll keep it going on there. So until we get a bit of money put in it, because it has to be. You have to get some money. People have got the money. Why spend it on other things, the really expensive things? On
if you've got if you've got a bit of money floating around that you don't need to spend, and you want to put into a charity. There's charities out there, but this one is important to Stephen May at the moment for his friend, which I totally support as well. It's a worthwhile charity. Instead of if you want to support a charity, maybe it's time to do this one.
Exactly. Yeah. Very worthy cause for a great guy that sadly missed and never forgotten though.
You think you're not just doing it for Steve, you're doing it for the other people that lost their life to this disease as well. So you're just helping everyone in a way.
A lot of children. He done this for the children that have got this, and
you said, yeah, I heard that.
Really help them, because I read things. If you go on his, there's obviously websites where you see about him and everything, talk about him and his family and everything else, and what he done in the hospital, talking to other patients and that with it all, and helping them, get through it all. I think he was brilliant, amazing guy.
Just think that £2 or £3 you put in could help a child that's still battling it.
Exactly, mate.
Could always help one person. You help one person, it could help 1,000 people.
But anyway, lads, that was another great stream, and I've got to go because over 2 hours now.
Always a pleasure, Mr.
Been
B.
on it, but it's been a great stream. I've really enjoyed it. And Manny, before we go, shout out your socials, mate.
Yeah, first of all, big up to you, Mr. B, for hosting this stream. And obviously, if you want to catch me on YouTube, you can catch me here on the Football Debate Show, and also his other channel, Mr. B Talks England Cricket, where I think we will be doing some previews / reviews / analyses of the fifth test between England and India. And of course, after that will be a promotion for England's campaign for the T20 World Cup to be taking place later on in the year. And other channels, do catch me on the Coach's Corner, where I will be doing a watch along for the Sheffield United Arsenal game, and also making a tribute to Stephen Featley on that channel sometime during that stream. So do catch that if you can. Also on Oris Talks Football, Del Boy Gunner TV. I think he might be doing a call-in show tonight after the match. I'm not too sure, but in any case, do catch his channel. Yeah, in any case, do try and catch his. Do subscribe to his channel. Really quality stuff from him. Also, Danny AFC TV, Up the Cherries in all departments. Eugen Spurs Asia TV, Old School Gunner, Northside LDN, Tony Claude Gunner TV. And also Rich Sports. They're doing a stream tonight. Sadly, I won't be able to join them because of my own commitments, although I could possibly hop on a bit later, maybe, if time permits. And just several other channels that, obviously I can't really name right now because I don't really have the mental energy to do so at the moment. I've got to eat as well. But always good to come on and talk sports, particularly football or cricket, especially on the events of the day, and offer perspectives. And always important to be respectful, because I always say this: if we can't agree to disagree without being disagreeable, there's no point in having a discussion. So let's treat each other the way that we'd like to be treated, and just let things flow. Social media. I am off social media for the period of Lent, but I will be back on Easter Sunday. Just type in the name on the bottom left-hand corner, and you should find me on Instagram, Threads, and Twitter. It's Manny Thangatherai 1981 on Instagram and Threads, and Thangatherai 1981 on Twitter. And nothing much else to say. If you're a Sheffield United or an Arsenal fan, enjoy the game tonight. Enjoy the other sporting action coming up this week. We've got European football, of course, returning with the Champions League and Europa League round of 16 games. Also, I think the Conference League's going to have its second leg playoff, I think. I'm not too sure. But until then, do take care of yourselves. Stay safe and be happy, and don't do anything that the panel and I wouldn't do. But as always, farewell to thee, goodbye, and God bless to all of you. Cheers.
Yeah, well said, buddy. Well said again. As usual. By the way, before I go into next, do you fear Sheffield United a bit tonight, Manny? Do you think they could cause an upset to you tonight or not?
I respect Sheffield United. I think they are capable of, putting in a gritty performance every now and then. But I'm not about to say how high if they ask us to jump. We need to go there and be professional and make sure we do the job. I'm predicting a 4-1 win. If we draw, goodbye title. And you can clip me up on this, because last season we had similar results against teams we were expected to beat. The 1-0 loss to Everton at Goodison Park, who had sacked their manager and brought Sean Dyche in. The 3-3 draw against Southampton. Theo Walcott coming back to break our hearts. We cannot afford to lose to to Sheffield United. If we lose to them, it's disgraceful. And as I said, Stepsy, you could have coaxed him out of retirement. He could have scored a few goals for you lot.
Yeah, probably could have. Yeah, we could do something like him right now.
Where can we find you at, mate?
Yeah, obviously work commitments is stopping my YouTube channel coming up. I will get there eventually when I can start meddling for some reason, when I get my minions working to the way they should be. Yeah, you can find me obviously on obviously channel on Fridays and Mondays. I think he's doing something tonight to commemorate the Arsenal game. I'm not sure. You can find me on Mr. B's channels, Mr. Mobile Football Chat, Mr. B Debate Show, Mr. B Talks England. Also, you can find me on Hanno's Coach Corner when he does some of his streams. I might join Manny tonight to sort of help keep the chat rolling. Find me on Seaboard TV sometimes with Tyler and his dad. God bless them. Big up. And yeah, obviously you can find me on Ollie's channel as well. hopefully I'll be doing something with Tony when West Ham rolls around the corner with Luton playing. So I'll speak to him about that. Hopefully we can sort something up there. And at the moment, find me on Instagram, Stepsy Boy, and on Twitter or X, as Elon Musk likes to call it now, Stepsy Boy 82.
Yeah, nice one, man. Nice one. Yeah. So anyway, it's been a great stream again, and I thank everyone in the live chat that's put comments in there.
Yeah, big up
Chris,
Chris, big up Chelsea fan.
Doug, you, Stephen, of course.
Doug was there. Doug was there.
Henry, who else? Miss Melina, Early Doors Football TV, Chelsea fan.
Loads
others?
tonight.
Box, some from Box. Yeah. Cheers, everyone. FDT didn't come on in the end. Never mind. Hopefully next time, mate, you can come on. That'd be great if you can. He was on about coming in, but he obviously didn't. So, but anyway, thanks for all that, guys. And obviously, look out for my next lot of content. Obviously, got the cricket one. That's all coming up with England, and of course, preview for the Arsenal one on Saturday. Talk about that. And
I like the grin on your face there, Mr. B. I like the grin there. That's the one.
We're hoping to do what some other teams aren't able to do at the moment and beat that lot. I don't know how, but we will. We'll try. But Manny's, you're welcome on, Manny, for that. Or who else is there? Oh, Ollie, of course, and all that lot. You know, other Arsenal fans are probably the more the merrier in a way to talk about it.
You're
But
the
anyway,
River fan. Mr. B, you're the only one on the opposite side.
yeah, well, we talk.
Back in your corner, mate. Back in your corner.
Perspective, mate. At the end of the day, so
Back in your corner, mate. Back in your corner.
And then I'll ignore it all when they say it. But no.
Why not? Why not?
But no, I mean, good luck. It's going to be a real tough one for us. I don't underestimate Arsenal at all.
Thomas Frank, watch tonight. Mr. Frank, you better be watching tonight.
Yeah, I'd like to see Sheffield United do something, but I can't see that happening myself. Somehow.
No, like May said, 4-1 for me. In my predictions, I put the Arsenal will be too strong. I put Sheffield United 1, Arsenal 3.
Yeah. I think I did I put 4-1 or something? I think
you did put 4-1. I think you said 4-1 in the stream, yeah, if I remember rightly. You said you said Sheffield United won't score, but Arsenal bang them in.
Yeah, more likely, I think. But anyway, anyway, for now, guys, everyone, thank you, and until next time, we're out of here. Goodbye.
Big up, people.